Hello again, lovelies, and welcome back to Mama G Gear. Mama G here, and this is an unconventional tutorial. And don't forget to be a nice human. All right, what I want to make today, if you're unfamiliar with unconventional tutorials, is I'm going to make something. I'm going to kind of show you how I do it, and you tweak it however you'd like to suit you. And oftentimes I discover what I'm doing as I go along, and sometimes I forget to do the last part of a tutorial, which I just did on the poncho or the Mandela sweater with the hoodie. All right, this one is going to be a poncho. What I would like to achieve is a poncho with 2 increases, not 4. Also with a turtleneck, preferably a hoodie, because you know I love the hoodies, and cuffs on the sleeves. Let's see if we could do that. I'm using a Premier puzzle yarn, which is a 5 weight. I have 5 skeins of this. That should be enough. I'm going to do it with a half double crochet stitch. And again, all of these things you can tweak to whatever you want to do. The reason I'm doing a half double crochet is because a single crochet takes too long, and a half double crochet still will give me the warmth that I'm looking for this poncho. If I were making this with a thinner weight yarn and want it more for spring, summer, fall, I would probably use you could do a mesh stitch or a double crochet stitch or whatever is more of a loose stitch with a thinner weight, and preferably a smaller hook if you wanted it to be a tighter stitch, or a big hook like this. I'm using an L, which is a 7mm. And again, I said this is a 5 weight. This is these have 328 yards per skein, 100% acrylic, and this colorway is Dominoes. I don't know whether or not it's discontinued or not. I'm going to start with the turtleneck part. For me, let me push these aside. For me, I'm going to start making an X, X, pretzel. I know there's a lot of easier ways to do this, but that's just habit. Okay, I'm going to start with 40 chains. And that's because I want my turtleneck to be somewhat, not too tight, but not a cowl neck. Okay, so there again, you could start at wherever, plus 40 is going to sit nice around my neck to my shoulders. So it's literally a matter of, I'm not going to count the stitches as I go, because I notice when I'm watching somebody do a tutorial and they're counting and I'm crocheting either faster or slower than them, it throws me off. So I'm starting with 40. As long as it's an even number, you're okay. So I would say do a chain, make sure it goes over your head, and then that would be a perfect, however you want it to fit around your neck. And don't make it too tight, because we want this to have some elasticity. This is going to be pulled over our head. All right, so it's literally whatever you want. Like I said, I'm going to do 40. I have no idea how many stitches are on here right now, so I'm going to have to pause you and count them. But that's how we're going to do it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did 40. If you don't know how to count them, see how there's V's? Hopefully that's focusing in for you. The V's on top, just count the V's. And that's your stitches. Now I'm going to run my thumb and fingers through it so that the V's are all on top, making sure that I'm not twisting this strand, then turning it. And what I tend to do, being that this is going to be an exposed end, I'll go into the bump in the back of the stitch. And then I'm going to grab this and do a slip knot. So I'm connecting the 2. All right. Then I'm going to chain 1, because I'm going to do a half double. So now, hopefully you could see this and we're not blurred. See the bump? You got the V on the bottom and the bump in the back. You don't have to do this. It's kind of more of an OCD thing than anything, I think, because what this does do, though, is it gives you the V finished edge. So now I'm going to go yarn over for the half double, go through the bump in the back. I'm going to pinch right here And I'll explain for you in a second, because see how when you do that, it pulls your working, not the working yarn, the yarn you already worked with, it pulls it. So I'm holding this so that I don't lose that next bump. So I'm going to hold here and pull it all through. So it's a yarn over, go through your bump, or part of the V, whichever, and then I'm going to hold here as I pull that yarn through, yarn over again, and pull through all three. Now see, I still have my bump is still exposed. I don't know. I giggle at some of the things I say. Sorry. All right, so now that's yarn over, go through the bump, hold it tight, pull through, yarn over, pull through all three. That's your half double crochet. And that's what this entire sweater is going to be. I'm going to continue to do this till I get to the other side, and I'll meet you back there. Just a little quick thing here. If for some reason you're doing this and you're going in the back bump and you can't find the bump, and you just pull out that last stitch, give it a pull, and then sometimes it'll re-show you where that bump is. See, here's my bump. So it's yarn over, through the bump, as I'm holding there, lose a stitch, yarn over again, and pull through all three. And if you notice, I'm also doing this kind of loosely, because again, it's going to be pulled over your head, but you want it to be able to spring back a little bit to give you, you know, the comfort around your neck, but still tight enough where it's close around your neck. All right, so I'm going to continue. This first row, by doing it this way, takes a, you know, takes a minute, but once we're done with this, you could bang through these half doubles in the normal stitches. So I'm going to put you back on hold, and I'll be back in two shakes of a lamb's tail. Alrighty, so when you get back to where you started, I counted my stitches just to make sure, because if you need to fudge it, if you missed one or you have to add one, you can do it right here. But I happen to have gotten 39, so I'm going to go for my 40th. And I don't know where the bump is. I'm just going to throw it in somewhere. And then this, where we started, the tail should be on the bottom. So make sure when you're pulling it out that it's all laying flat and not twisted. That's one thing that can get you in trouble. So now I want to go to the top V of the very first half double that I started and do a slip stitch. We're going to eliminate the slip stitch as we go, because we're going to work in the round. If you want to, you don't have to do that. You can keep doing that slip stitch, I mean that extra stitch, and then start the next round. I prefer not to do that because I think it leaves kind of like a ridge, so I just continually go round. All right, what I did do with my adorable frog earring, because I don't have a stitch marker, so I'm using this, is I counted out this point right here is 20. So that's half, because those are the 2 points you are going to want, because this is a 2-point increase. All right, so now the next row we're going to chain one. And I'm going to do this for the collar part, but not for the poncho part. So chain one, and then into both, yarn over, pull through, and again, it's just half double crochets all the way around. And I'm not going to bore you with this. Now this point here, you figure out how many rows of this you would like to do before you want to start the actual poncho part that's going to go over your shoulder. This right now that I'm doing is just for the neckline. And we got a little bit of yarn barf going here. Here we go. This is really pretty yarn. It's very soft to work with too, if you haven't tried the puzzle. But if you could, it's saying it's a 5-weight, yeah. But if you did this with a 4-weight, you may want a little bit more than 40 stitches if you wanted a tighter, close-up neckline. Close-up neckline wasn't the right word to use, but whatever. All right, just deal with it. I'm sorry. Okay, so anyway, so I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to probably do 4 rows. That's 2 rows. I don't want it to be too high, but I want it to be high enough where it's going to actually, you know, be worth being around my neck to cover the back of my neck and whatnot. All right, so I'm going to do a couple more rows of this. When you get back to, you could not do this collar also. If you wanted to not do a collar, then you just chain however many you want to start at your neckline. And then you're going to add the increases, which I'll show you that in a second. But I thought I could come up with a conversation enough to get me here. But when you get back to here, you do your last stitch and then slip stitch through here, do a chain, and through the collar I do that extra chain and go around. All right, I'll be back. Just to quickly show you again. So I got my last stitch. That's my 39th stitch that I'm on now. I'm doing my 40th stitch, 40th half double. Then I'm going to go to that first V and pull it through, and then do a slip, and then one. And I'm not tightening this up because I want the elasticity. Okay, that's why when you're doing your chain, you want that to not be too tight, because you want that to be able to stretch. All right, now I'm really going to keep going until I get to where I want to be, and I'll be back. Okay, so I decided to do 4 rows. I know this looks kind of tight, but I got a small head. And I'm on my 40th stitch. But now you want to put it down where it's, if you're starting with whatever even number you're doing, split that in half, and that's how many stitches on either end you want to put a marker. I did 40. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 is right here. So we're going to put my frog earring there, hopefully. I don't have any extra yarn to do it with. Usually I just throw a piece of yarn there. But anyway, there's my, I'll squeeze that a little bit. So there's my 20 on this side. And just for good measure, we'll start the other side and count. 1, 2, 3. And that's the 20. Okay, so now comes the part where you're going to only have 2. I'm going to put the stitch marker here just for, I don't know why. Oh, I'm not even on screen, sorry. Okay, so now I'm going to slip stitch this in. And now it becomes part of the increases, the 2 increases to make the poncho. If you're not doing a collar, you would just do a chain, then 1 row, and then start doing what I'm doing if you don't want a turtleneck. Okay, so I'm going to crochet 2, 1, 2, 3, and then go back into that same stitch. I think that works out. Oh, double, half double. So what I'm doing, I crocheted 3 and then did a half double in the same stitch, because that's going to give me a half double, a chain 2, and a half double. All right, that's going to be the first increase. Now we're just going to go around, make sure you get those stitches. I'm not one that likes to count, so I try to avoid that at all costs. I also don't like to tie in ends, so I try to tuck in as I go, which I normally would have tucked this in already, but whatever. But if I can tuck things in as I go, I definitely do that. Sorry about the little froggy guy scraping on the table there, but all right, so we're just going to crochet. This should be to 20. Then once I show you this, then you just take it and go with it however long you want it to be. Because being that this is a 2-point increase, you're going to have 2 areas that are triangular pointed down, and the rest will be straight across. So depending on how you want to wear it, depends on what you're going to do. I'm going to make mine pointed in front, pointed in back, straight over the arm. So mine's going to be a lot longer because I want to add a hood and then also put cuffs. So if you're not adding a hood and doing cuffs, you just make this and you can wear it where it's straight across the front of you and the triangles go, the points go down your arms, or you can turn it and have the points go 3/4 length down your arm, and you know that you could twist it around. This one it's gonna be what it is when I decide. All right, now I'm to the frog. So I'm gonna do a half double crochet, chain 2 back into that same spot. Let's move Mr. Frog over here, back into that same spot. Come on, Mr. Frog. Oh, he's stuck in the yarn. All right, so we're just gonna go on this side of it and I'll pull him. We don't need him anymore. He can go back. He can go back over there because you don't need the markers now, because now your marker is that hole. All right, so then we're going to go the other side, and I'm going to show you this, and then you take it away. And again, however you want to wear it, that's how long you want your poncho to be. And if you're not putting a hood on it and you're not doing cuffs, you can make it into like a little ponchoette if you'd like. And this is actually nice, even if you have a coat on underneath. If you make like a little ponchoette, you have a coat on, you just could throw this over top, so it kind of serves as a scarf and just kind of keeps your shoulders warm. But I want to show you this part when we're getting up. I'm almost there. I could feel the hook in my hand, or the stitch marker. Of course, I could feel the hook in my hand because it's right here. All right, we're coming back to the beginning. I might be off because I put this in the 30th. But, you know, if you're off a little bit, who cares? No one's going to be measuring it while it's on you. And you can always add a stitch, take a stitch out, tweak it. Okay, so now I'm at my first join. So I'm going to go, I have my half double here, chain 2, and the other ones. But I'm going to go in, and this is the only part that's going to be a little tough, because once you get past this point, you're just going to go in the round. All right, so now let's see how we could do this, because I don't want to keep having to make a, I mean, you can go in, I just slip stitched, you could slip stitch back in here and then do exactly what you did before, but I'm trying to not, hence why these are unconventional, because I'm figuring it out as I go. But I want to just continually go. So let's see. Let's just do this. Do a half double, chain 2, half double. Let's see if this works. And then continue on. But I want to show you, like in that stitch, I want to get this first stitch, not this one here, the very first stitch in the beginning and at the end of each of those, because that's going to give you an added increase. And being that we're only increasing this two sections, you want to get as much of an increase as possible. Otherwise, it'll scoop down. It'll have a slow increase, and then you won't be able to lift your arms up. So let's get over to the other side and see if this works. I'll show you. And I'm going to move that out of your way. All right, come on, come on, come on, woman. Hurry up. Look, a moment of silence on one of my videos? That can't be so. All right, we're getting up to the next one. All right, so now I can show you what I'm talking about, and then I can let you go at it till we get to the next part. All right, so see this? There's chain 2, and here and here. You want to make sure you get this one here. Don't skip that guy. Then you're going to go into the circle or the hole. Then you're going to chain 2. And again, I'm not doing tight stitches, so be careful with your tension. Now, here we go. All right, can you see this stitch right here? Don't go into this one. Go into this one. because that's giving you a whole extra increase. And that'll make the angle of this protrude out more rapidly. Ooh, that sounded kind of weird. Anyway, so this is what you do. There you go. All right, there's your poncho. Of course, it's got a lot longer to go here, but I'm standing doing this, so I'm going to go sit my butt down. And mine's going to be really long, or longer than most. But yeah, let me get you quickly to the other side and do that one more time, because I don't want you to miss those two stitches, because that does make a huge difference. Yes, of course, when you hurry, you miss your stitch. Jeez Louise. Yeah, if you're looking for perfect tutorials, don't be watching mine, that's for sure. I just figure we all make mistakes. I mean, nothing to be ashamed of. We learn from our mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. All right, so we're back here. Here's my thing, so I'm going to go into this stitch here. This one's a little wonky in the beginning. I'm going to go into this stitch here. In worst case scenario, I added a stitch, and I can always delete it afterwards. Now we're going into the hole. Chain 2. Go back into the hole. And again, don't miss this stitch right there. It's kind of a tight one, but you want that stitch because it's going to make it flare a lot quicker, more quickly. Use your adverbs. All right, so that's pretty much, I'm going to count this and make sure I didn't it looks like I might have added an extra stitch here in the process. If so, I'll just skip a stitch the next round. It's going to be such a small little mistake, you're not even going to notice it. So when you wear this, it's going to be 2 angles and then flat across. So you can wear it that way, or you can turn it where you've got your points in your front and along the back. And when I get this done, I'll come back, show you what I'm talking about, and we'll move from there. So good luck. Alrighty then. So I'm into my 3rd ball. I've got this much left, and I have, whoop, I just dropped it on the ground. I have my neckline, and then my 1 point here, my 1 increase there. I just want to spread it out so you could see, hopefully, that it's got a bit of an angle, but it also has a lot of stretch. And what I did, I did it long because, like I said, oh, almost knocked that over. I did it long because I want the points to be in the front and in the back. So I'm lining up my front point and my back point, and I'm going to pull to find, I'm going to start from here and run my finger in the middle, and then kind of, I'm not going to bother counting because it really doesn't make a difference. And I'm going to find where I get to the end point, grab a marker, put a marker in there. These don't have to be perfect. And then back on the other side, finger in the middle, kind of slide it so it's kind of even. Pull till I get to this side. Put another marker. And I found another marker so I could put the frog earring back. That's going to be the center points of where I'm going to add the sleeve, the cuff. So I have my yarn on this side. All right, here's my hook. All right, so now stick my hand in there. How do I feel about that? That feels pretty good. All right, so let's figure. Well, I guess I have to use my frog. Okay, so I'm going to figure where this is and that is. Let's put Froggy here for a second. Just for a hot second. And I want to count the stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 24. So for my cuff, I'm going to do 24. But what I'm going to do is, going to go into my next stitch. So that would make it 23. That's okay. Next stitch, pull through. Now, see what I did? Let me do that again. I'm hoping this will work. Again, like these are unconventional because I'm just trying crap out to see if it works. I went into my next stitch, so that's going to make it a 23 stitch cuff, but that's fine. And then I'm going to go also into this stitch because I'm working on the right side of the project. And I'm going to do a half double. And then just got to remember 23. Okay, that's the number. And then I'm going to work my way around. Hope this works out all right. I really have no idea how this is going to look. We'll find out at the end. So now I'm going to work my way around. I got a cluster here. I'm going to work my way around. Hope this is explanatory. And as always, leave questions in the comments. Or just leave comments. Don't forget the thumb if you're not subscribed. If you like what you see, please subscribe. We always like more Yarnalicious family members. But yeah, leave some questions in there. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. If I mess something up, you know, if you want to critique this, just be kind. My fragile personality. I'm not fragile. When you're an artist, you're pretty thick-skinned because you get a lot of people's opinions, and art is subjective. I'm going to leave it there. All right, let's see if this worked. Because if it worked, that's cool. I just come up with something else, right? Because now I've got the stitch that I started. Let's see if I could just continue in the round. I love working in the round and not having to do the chain one and then, you know, joining it. All right, so now we're at where we started. But I'm going to go into here. That might pick up my 23rd. And now, all right, I'm going to do a slip stitch. Only because of the height. This was higher than that. But I'm going to lose that slip stitch. Twisting the project around again. Going to chain one, go into the next stitch, and then I will lose that part perhaps. So now we're kind of doing what we did for the collar. You could do a different stitch. It would look nice right here to do a rib stitch, to be honest with you. But too late now because I've already started this. I just want to make sure that the other sleeve cuff is going to be the same, because even one stitch off with this kind of weight is going to hang differently, and I want them to be proper. So we're at, this is row 2, and I'm going to put you on pause and work my way up, and then I'm going to slide my hand through to see how well it looks. I haven't tried this on yet. The worst with that. But this way, when I'm wearing it, I could put my hands through there and it'll stay in position because, like I said, I am going to put a hood on it as well. And if you made your poncho a little short, you can make your sleeves longer. If you made your poncho long, you just do a short sleeve or a tighter sleeve that you could push up. You know, all kinds of stuff you could do. And let's see how this works out when I get to the end here. Can I continue around? Probably not. Well, it's okay if I don't, because this will give a nice finished edge. So I got one more here. And then we'll slip stitch on that top one. That might be all I'm going to do on there. You know what? That's all I'm going to do on that one. All right. So now I'm going to pull this through, and I don't have a scissor. Hold on. I did have a scissor. All right, so I cut it, pull it through. Let's take out Mr. Frog. Now we're going to go to the other side. Oh, before I do that, let's count what we've got here. Yeah, 24. All right. And I said yeah because there's one stitch that could be a stitch if I needed it or not if I don't need it. Now let's go to the other side. We are at the other sleeve. Bring our yarn over. Now we're going to add it. This is where I tuck in as I go. So I've got my slip knot. And we did 24. So half of that is 12. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Throw a stitcher in there. And then counting this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. Take my stitcher, reopen it as I'm holding that spot. And stitch them together. And there's my next sleeve. And like we did in the other one, we just kind of, you know what, hold on. I'm going to put my hook through, then my stitch, pull that through. So this is going to go, the tail's going to go inside. And then I'm going to go through the other, oops, did I do that wrong? Other one, I did it wrong, I'm sorry. Disregard that, never mind. All right, see, this is why they're unconventional. Go ahead, laugh if you'd like. I laugh at myself all the time. All right, we're just going to go through both. Pull this through. Go through both, but I'm going to pull the tail in the inside. There we go. All right, we got it now. So 1, and then I'm going to hold my tail as I start doing the half doubles around this part of the sleeve. See my tail? I'm tucking my tail as I go. Tuck that tail. And again, just going to go all the way around till I get to the other side. And I think I only did 2 rows if I remember correctly. And I already got that tail tucked in. So that's a beautiful thing. Now put you on pause, do 2 rows. I'll be right back. Just so show you that, yeah, didn't speak much. All right, so I'm in the first round still. So I'm in that last stitch. Half double. I'm going to go in here. Top of that half double, slip stitch, chain 1, one more time around, and then I'll be right back. We'll cut that off and tie that in off, and I'll see you in a sec. Okie dokie. So now we have our little turtleneck top, the spine going in the front and on the back, all the way down to the bottom. And then on either side, I didn't tie the ends in yet, we have just a small little cuff. And if I do take a picture of somebody other than me wearing this, I will insert it here somewhere. But here's our little cuffs on either end. And now you could stop here. This is really awesome. But no, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to figure out how to do a hood on here. The key to the hood on here is I can't start the hood here because that's the collar. So I'm going to have to start the hood lower. Okay? And I'm figuring this out while you're watching. So I'm going to have to start the hood lower. But I also, it's going to need to be maybe a little wider. So I either start with a couple chains extra and end with a couple chains extra, or I increase the first row incredibly. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, let's start with the chains. All right, so you understood what I just said. I could start here, but you want to start lower because you want to have it be right. You want the hoodie to start at the top of your shoulders, not at the top of your neck. That would, well, it might look like kind of alien. Might fit weird. That might be in another tutorial. All right, so flip it around, make the pretzel, pull it through. There we go. I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3 chains, and that's going to extend off of where I go in. And I'm going to go right into this part right here. Let's see if this works. How do I do this? Maybe not. All right, so I did a single crochet on that, but I want to continue the double crochet. So now I'm going to go, this whole row is where I'm going to put the hood. So let's see how this works. Maybe I'll go into this stitch right here. Excuse me. All right, so now I'm skipping over that. I'm going into that in between stitch there. Double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet into that singular stitch. And I'm also crocheting gently, but I just realized I want to do something else. Line up my back and front, get out my markers, because I want to follow that stitch to this end, and it doesn't make a difference where I put it, just as long as I'm on that row on that side. And I'm also going to do the same on this side, and that's because I'm putting these markers here because that's where I want to increase, and I'm also going to increase in the back. That's going to, in the bottom part here, I'm going to give it a couple increases so the hood's going to fit around my head, or whoever's head that gets this. All right, so now I'm going to go into that stitch, then into the next stitch, and I'll show you what I'm talking about because we're almost there. It's so weird to crochet standing up. All right, so whether it be this one or the next one, let's just do the next one. So what I'm going to do here is 2 half doubles in that same stitch. So that's going to add another extra stitch there. Let's turn the work around. And now we're going to go all along the back, but in the center of the back, I'm going to do the same. So over each shoulder and in the center of the back, I'm going to be adding, I'm going to increase a stitch. So that's going to be 3 increases, plus I did 3 chains in the beginning, and I'll add 3 chains at the end, which I just realized, how am I going to do that? Because if I continue on, I'll figure it out. I feel like I'm going lower here. Hold on, maybe not. All right. Again, we learn as we go, and you learning along with me. Yep, let's get that stitch. I do feel like I'm going lower here, but probably not. But this way the hood will be on the outside of the turtleneck. So if you drop your hood down, you're still going to have your turtleneck. Yeah, I do realize how am I going to add that 3 chains? I may have to refigure this. Oh, duh. Wait a minute. Right here. Hold on, back up. All right, so here we're going to add on 2 into that same spot, because that's another increase. All right. All right, let's get to the other side. And as I'm doing this, I'm trying to figure out how to figure out the three chains. Worst case scenario, I can undo those and just not have that be the case. This is why I find I've always liked puzzles and word games and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, coming up with these ideas on the go in real time kind of satisfies that part of the brain that I like to enhance. All right, so here I'm going to double it again. I'm doubling it before the stitch because I doubled it after the stitch. So I'm putting 2 in that one and not the tag. And I could pull that out. And I'm still not sure what I'm going to do when I get to the end of this, so it should be interesting. It'll work out. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's just yarn. And that's why we could always frog it out and try something else. All right, we're almost there. And I still haven't figured out what I was going to do. Because I did add... Oh, I know. Okay, hold on. Do one. I'm going to do one right in here, in this part, not in the other part. Do that. And then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Duh. Okay. There's our 3 extra. And now I'm going to do an extra one because I'm going to turn my work and go back. Hello, that was easy. I'm not going to the back loop because I just really don't have the time right now. So 1, 2, 3. So now this is going to have 3 on either side at the bottom, which we can put a stitch, crochet a chain and weave it through so you have like a pole thing. That might be what I do. But anyway, so now I'm going back and back around, and now we're back to the hat. So it's literally going back the other way. We're going to come around the other side and do that again. Now if you want to continue to do another increase or skip a row and do an increase, I like my hoodies to be a little more Wuthering Heights kind of droopy. So let's see where the increase is. I think I'm going to do another double increase here on the end, the corners and the back. And here's my double increase here. So I'm going to do that here, and then I'm going to keep on going until, I'm not, slide that in there. And do another double increase right on top of that one. Keep going. I'm going to do a double one in the middle of the back and another one over the other shoulder. And I'm going to keep doing this until if you want to put it on and make sure that it's tall enough to be able to connect at the center top of your head for a hood. That's when you're done. All right, so that's pretty easy. This is a very easy pattern, by the way. And again, if you don't want to do the half double crochets, you could do this with a mesh. This would, even with the turtleneck, and maybe not the turtleneck, but with the hood, would look really super cool in like a summer type, over a bathing suit type thing. Where's my double? Oh, I feel it. It's right there. Oh, maybe I missed the back. Yeah, I did. Well, whatever. I missed increasing the back this row. I'll increase it in the back next row. So I'm not going to increase the sides now. I think this is going to be wide enough, but I may continue to increase occasionally in the center of the back. And now, because I'm back on the side, but I did miss that one. No worries. I'm going to add an extra one right here. Back to the front. And this is it, folks. All right, I could let you off here because this is getting very long, but it is a big project. I'm going to go back up to here, turn around, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. And I am going to continue to increase occasionally in the back, like I said, so it's going to give it more fullness in the top of the hood. If you don't want that, just make it go straight. And then when we get to the point where it's ready to connect on the top, we'll get back to you. And don't forget your thumbs. It's highly appreciated. And leave a comment. Alrighty, so I finished the hood and almost finished that third skein. So with 3 skeins, I made a very good size poncho. And I have 2 extra skeins left, so I'll probably do a hat and maybe some warmies. I don't know, maybe booties with it. I have enough to do a whole ensemble. Anyway, all right, so this is the proper side of the poncho. You got the little sleeves and the 2 V's in the front and the other little sleevette. See, there's just an opening here. And then just back and forth. Here's the 3 stitches on either side. So I may end up, after I put the hoodie together, I might do a trim around this and then weave so it can be tied. I don't know. But this should hang really nicely on the back. And I occasionally added an increase up the back way. But what I wanted to say now, so now this is the right side. So now you want to join the top of the hood, you want to put the wrong side. Put the right sides facing one another, so you're crocheting on the wrong side or the inside. And here's my last stitch. So let's do 1 chain. And highly recommend, not that you would do it differently, but highly recommend that you start your join at the front part of the hood. This way when you get to the back part and you have it together, if it's not centered, it's not a big deal. But if you started back here and went forward and you were off in the front, then it would be a problem. So what I'm going to do here, you could do several different ways. You could slip stitch, you could single crochet, you can cut this off and weave it with a needle. I'm just too lazy for all of that. So I'm just going to go, I did a chain 1. I'm going to go back into that first stitch, find the first stitch on the other side, pull it through. I'm going to slip stitch this one just because that's really loose. And that's really the only reason I'm doing that. Otherwise, I would have just done a single crochet. You can do 1/2 of the V and 1/2 of the V on the other side if you want the ridging to look a certain way. I'm not going to be fussy. I'm just going to literally go to the next stitch, do a single crochet, and again, I'm not doing it tight. See where there's kind of loose? That's a little too loose. Overcompensating, but just going to single crochet all the way to the back of the hoodie. And then it's done. Or if you want to put pockets on here, now that you have a definitive front and back because of the hood, you could put a pocket on the front of this if you'd like, or tassels hanging off of it, whatever you want to do. But I like this pattern. It worked up pretty quickly. For myself personally, this took me 2 days. It's a double crochet, and that's not like constant, you know. That's along with doing other things. So it took me about 2 days, but depending on what stitch you're using and how quickly you crochet, times may vary, because time is a man-made construct anyway. So yeah, I'm almost done here to the end, and I literally just, this is it. Hope you're in focus. And I'm crusty. Oh my God, I almost called my daughter, I did call my daughter Crusty, but I meant to say Rusty. And of course we have a yarn barf in here. Rusty is on her way, and I will see if I can get her to put this on and take a photo, and that would be the thumbnail or maybe a little video of her wearing this. we can talk her into that. So cross your fingers that she lets me do that. All right. Almost done. And like I said, you could do a slip stitch or whatever. I'm going to grab these last couple stitches. And it goes right like that's fine. Then pull. Do another knot there. Grab my trusty scissors that I couldn't find before. Cut it off. Pull it through. That's done. I'm going to put my finger here so when I go in the back, we've got a little bit of a point. Take that off. I have done that. I have actually sold products that I left the stitch markers in. But this is all I have left of the yarn. That's enough probably to make a hat, or most of a hat. Yeah, this was tied together, and it's on the lower part. I don't know what I'll do with this. I might see if I put a little fabric glue, because either way it sticks out, it's going to be inside the hood or outside the hood. But yeah, so there we have a hood with the turtleneck, and if you're wearing it, it's going to drape down like that, and then the poncho. Not bad, huh? Alrighty, well, thank you for watching. Leave a comment. Are you going to try this? This sounds like might be fun. It didn't take that long, and unisex, universal, depending, and the slant on it. It's really the length that you put it is whether it's going to fit for a child or an adult. But I'm hoping that it has enough of a slant. It's not as angled as I had hoped it would be, but we'll put it on Rusty and see how it turned out. Maybe I totally screwed up and have to start over again. You never know. All right, I love you guys. Be well, and see you next time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget your thumbs. Bye-bye for now.